In this video, we will be discussing how the HP Prime calculator, HP Prime app for iOS or Android or the PC or Mac emulator work. We will go to the Prime Academy Learning Center. Once there, we will click on the HP Prime button. The HP Prime section is made up of 3 pages: the generality, the settings, and the example pages. We will first be looking at the generality pages. The generality page is made up of 3 topics: the keyboard, the touchscreen, and the view topic. The keyboard topic is the most complex. The touchscreen and the view topic are not as complex, although again we will be showing you how you can create these screens on the calculator. Let's go back to the keyboard section. This picture shows all the features of the keyboard. The keyboard keys are either in black, blue, or orange. The blue key requires the shift key, and the orange key requires that you press the alpha key first. The black keys are in the lower section, or they are black keys with white text on them. When we turn on our calculator, we will see that we are giving some soft keys that are also white on black. So all 3 of these keys are referred to as the black keys. To demonstrate the keyboard in action, we have shown a feature of the free light calculator on our screen. What we have done is we have taken the browser function over here and we have copied it, and then in our calculator we go to the edit function and we paste it in by using keyboard shortcuts. So we use Control C over here and we use Control V over here. Here is our finite math tab is shown, and it has been scrolled down, and the function for a line with 2 points, the equation for a line with 2 points that we do, where we take the formula for a line with the point and slope, and the slope itself is given right here. So what we have done on our calculator has added 3 different functions to our calculator. Now again, these functions will work in the light calculator, in the emulator calculator for the PC or Mac, or work in the handheld calculator. The first one returns the slope, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. The second one is the equation of a line given a point and a slope, which is equal to the slope times x minus x sub 1 plus y sub 1. And the third one is the equation of a line given 2 points, where we go back to our equation of our line and we use these nested. Again, the nice point to this is that these functions will work even in the free light calculator. I should note, for these functions to work, we had to be in cassette view. Up here you can see the CAS view. If we switch over to home view, you will notice that no icon is up here, and at the present time we haven't done anything in the home view, so it looks like this. Again, we press CAS and we switch back to the cassette view. The calculator also has an app view, which contains various applications to do things for us. The free light version will not have as many applications in it. It will not have the geometry, the graph 3D, and other applications in it. Let's again return to the cassette view. If you notice in our cassette view here, we used, in this particular problem, we used a lowercase x. If we go back over to our tab for finite math, we see that here we used an uppercase x, and in here we used a lowercase x. So again, we talked about the alpha key in our calculator. Well, when we're in cassette mode, if we press the alpha key and then press the X key, okay, on our calculator and press enter, we are back in X. But if we hit the the alpha key, and you notice up here it says A through Z. Then if we hit the shift key, you notice it says capital A through Z up here. And again, if we press the X key on our calculator at this time, we get a capital X. If we press enter to this particular calculation, we get the value 0. So this is one thing that we have to watch out, and this is one problem that you have with the calculator. It is case sensitive, and variables A through Z, capital letters, automatically have 0 stored in them, where the lowercase letters do not have things stored in them. So when we do manipulation in the cast mode, sometimes we will have X involved in the equation, and it will substitute 0 in for us, and that part will appear to be a wrong answer. Where we use lowercase x, it will work out for us. To illustrate things going wrong, we have reset our calculator. So if we go over to here, and there is an option to reset the calculator. We have also switched over to our home screen, as evidenced by no name up here, also the function up here. Now, apps is set to function, so if we press the escape key, that's why it says the word function up here. For most of the time, we will want to use this. If we use our var key in here and move over to program, we see that we only have one program in our particular calculator. And this program is the line for 2 points that is highlighted over here on this screen. We had it highlighted here. We have now entered this in to our particular calculator. So we'll press the escape key, get out of here, and if we go back to cassettes, we have done some work, okay, with this. So the work is shown in the history area of the particular calculator. So we've now pasted in the function for a line directly, where it's using the formula for the slope. It's using the y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2, and it's using the capital X. So then when we call up the new function that we added to the calculator with values, it tells us that this is the equation y equal to this. We want to simplify this, so we use the soft key simplify, and we come up with this answer. Now, in the new version of the calculator, it allows us to say y equal as a particular variable. So what happens then is it assumes that x is 0, and when x is 0, it tells us that the answer is 5/7. We will return to the HP prime generality page. On the HP generality page, what we look at next is how the first row of keys work. The first row of keys has us use the template key. The template key is found over here on our particular calculator. So when we press the template key, it brings up the template on the calculator. Other keys in this first row of the calculator do various functions. As we said before, the var key, we escape out of here. The var key comes up with the different program functions. So when we press enter and take a look at it, and if we press enter, it brings up our function that we added in the last section. We will clear this out. The template key we've already explained. Okay, the next key is the key that is dependent on the function that we have, the app that we have running. If the app we have running okay, is function, then this is a shortcut to give us the letter X without using the alpha key. The ABC key has to do with fractions, and this has to do with deleting the thing in the calculator. So if we press this, it's going to delete our X. The key we'll use the most is probably the toolbox key. The toolbox key gives us the function. When we press 1 for algebra, it tells the various functions that algebra can do. We press 3 for solve. It tells the various functions that solve can do, and so forth. If we press the math soft key, and then we press 1, it gives us various functions for 1. If we press matrix in here, it gives us the various functions for matrix. So we'll escape out of it. Again, if we press the toolbox key and press catalog, it gives us the various catalog functions. The last thing we will do for the generality page is cover this collage of screenshots. The last collage of screenshots on this page will be covered in the example page. The first thing we do is to turn our calculator to the home page. Once we're at the home page, we type the numbers over here, which is 1225 divided by 990. So we type 1225. We hit divide. It switches it into fractions. We type 990 and press enter. What happens is we end up with this answer. These screens over here are just showing all the possible answers. The first answer that we end up with, okay, on the home screen is the decimal equivalent answer. When we press the ABC button, we next end up with the fraction in reduced form. We press the ABC button again. We end up with the mixed numeral. And we press the ABC button again, and we go back to the decimal equivalent of the fraction. Over here on the first screen, we were just showing the two possible answers for reduced form and the regular form. This does not come from the ABC button. We should also comment that the input line over here did not have commas, but the pretty print output line over here has commas. We will now switch over to our cassette view on our calculator. We have all the stuff in the history area. When we look over here, we do not see anything in the history area. The clear button is right here in blue, so we hit shift and clear to clear the history area. Now we will use the template key. We will want the with operator, so we will move over here and select the with operator. We want to enter this expression over here, minus x to the 0 power with x equal to 2.3. So to do this, we're going to move ourselves, okay, back. And we're going to enter a negative sign. Then we're going to enter x. We will use the button right here, since we're in function mode, to create our x. Then we want to raise it to the 0 power, so we'll hit our raise it to the 0 power. Then we want to move down, and we want to move over to this particular point. Again, we will hit our X. Then we need the equal sign, so we'll have to hit the shift and the equal. And then we want the number 2.3. And press enter. And we end up with the answer -1. To do the next calculation, here we press 2. We raise it to the power button. We press -4. We're up in this particular mode, so we press our button here to move us down, then hit divide, then 3 raised to the -2 power, and press enter. End up with our answer. To do the last calculation, let's start with the template button instead of divide. So we'll go over here to the template button, and it will give us a fraction. In the numerator, we put an x. We raise it to the -1 power, raise it to the -1 power, move down to the denominator. It's y to the -2nd power. We're going to have to hit our alpha key, and y I accidentally hit the W, so I'll back it up. Then I'll hit the Y key, raised to the -2nd power, and I turned up with 25/9 over this particular value. So what's going on here is x has a value or y has a value in it. So if we look at y, alpha y, and press enter, we see that y has 5/7 in it. So at this time we need to get rid of that particular y value. So to get rid of that y value, if we go to our toolbox, and then we hit P to go for purge. We had it set up already for purge, so we hit OK, and then we type Y, and we press enter. We purged it. Now if we go back up in our history area and press enter to transfer this to our input command line and press enter, we get our answer y² over x. To show the last two screens of our collage, we go to our calculator, we hit the toolbox key. The toolbox key returns to the last entry we had, which is catalog. We notice that automatically up here it's set for A to Z. So when we press B, it will take us to backup. Also notice that there are other commands in here than there is in our sample. And the reason for that is that they decided to add the different functions that were in the various programs. So we'll escape out of here. The next thing is we want to come up with a function symbolic view. To do that, we go to apps. It's already set for function, so we press enter. So then when the default is to give us the symbolic view, so we start typing, okay, in here. So we'll have 1 divided by 4, get ourselves out of fraction mode. It's always best to put the times sign in, times, parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we will want to write x. Notice when we typed x right here, it did capital X. When we're in the home screen or we're in this function, it will use the capital version of the letters. Then we subtract 1, get ourselves, okay, out of the exponent mode, raise it to the power, we put in 2, and then, okay, get ourselves out of exponents, add to, and press either OK or enter. Now, to get this screen here to show up like this screen, we'll press the soft key edit on our particular one, and we'll move up. We'll escape. We'll press symbolic. Okay, we're on this particular line, and we'll press edit, and now we finally get our thing to be in this particular part. And notice we typed the wrong value, so we'll delete that particular number and put in the number 2 and press enter, and end up with the correct value that we want. When we're working an app, these 3 screens have to do with the app. So if we go back up here and then we plot, we will see a plot of the particular screen. This concludes our video on generalities.